Hey, it's Roy Calvin. This is episode 16 of You Don't Know Anything About Women, where I'm going to give you some dating advice that would probably get me banned if I posted it on Reddit. Let's get into our first post. Girl I'm seeing wants to do expensive stuff for dates, and I don't know if I should just be upfront about my budget. So I met this girl on Hinge about 3 weeks ago, and we've been on 2 dates. First one was coffee and walking around the park near downtown. Super chill, and we really clicked. The conversation was so easy, and we were laughing the whole time. Anyway, she texted me after saying she had a great time and wants to plan the next date. She suggested this new restaurant that just opened, and I looked it up, and the entrees alone are like $45 to $60. Don't get me wrong, I have a decent job, but I've been trying to save money for a car down payment, and I usually don't spend that much on dinners, even for myself. I really like her and want to see where this goes, but I'm kind of stressed because I don't want her to think I'm cheap or not interested. At the same time, I feel like if we keep going on dates like this, it's going to add up fast, and I can't really afford it right now without dipping into what I've got saved up. Should I just be honest and suggest something else, or is this going to make me look broke and kill the vibe? I also don't know if this means we're just on different pages about lifestyle stuff, which could be a problem down the road. Really don't want to mess this chance up because she seems great, but also I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. I've looked at the first few comments and they're all just saying like be upfront about it and tell her that it's out of your budget or suggest something else that's more within your budget. But we got to rewind here because I think you kind of messed this up early on and nobody is really mentioning that. Like for me, if I can avoid it, which I usually can, I never let the girl decide where we're going or what we're going to do on our next date. You said she texted you after saying she had a great time and wants to plan the next date, which is great to see her taking that initiative of like not even waiting for you to ask her out again, but she's saying, hey, I want to meet again and I'll plan where we're going. So just in the future, I would try to not let her plan things, but I don't think this is a bad thing. And I think that you have to go on this place that she's chosen now. There's not a reason to make a big deal out of it. 45 to 60 bucks. It sounds like you kind of sound like me, like you can afford it, but you just don't want to spend that much money on a date. But I do think you just got to take the loss in that sense for now and just go on this date. Because those suggestions about like message her and say it's out of your budget, like that's really bad advice, I think. If you really wanted to change it, I mean, I wouldn't mention the budget. I would just say, actually, I had this other place that I really wanted to go to. And she would probably just forget about the place she suggested and you would never have to go there. I would say just go on it for now. And you've been on 2 dates, but you're saying at the end of this post, like, well, I'm worried it could lead to problems down the road about our lifestyle. And if we're on different pages, don't worry about that right now. I think I've been reading a lot of posts lately of people wanting to give up on like a girl that they're dating after like 2 or 3 dates because they're thinking about shit so far away. Don't worry about that. This is what dating is for. You can go on a few more dates and figure out what she's like. There's also a comment there saying not to only suggest a new restaurant, but also like judge her response to that. That's just too fucking complicated right now. Like we're going on a 3rd date here. We don't need to worry about all this. Let me judge her reaction. Whatever, she found a restaurant she wants to go to and she invited you there. It sounds okay. Now, another piece of information I would like is if you are paying for both you and her on the first 2 dates that you went on, because then like that's more of a problem to me than just the restaurant being expensive. Like if you have to pay for her as well, because I just don't agree with that practice normally. So then, yeah, you're doubling your bill from, a $60 entree to $120 and then drinks and shit. Then we're really getting up to like my threshold of like, this is a crazy fucking 3rd date. I barely even know this girl. So I wish I had that information. But if she's been paying for her half, especially, I would be okay with going on this date. Just again, in the future, you be the one to plan the dates. And just looking like past this date on the 4th date, just do something like super really cheap. And then you look at that 3rd and 4th date combined and you think, oh, the average price here is actually pretty reasonable. It doesn't matter that I spent more than I'm used to on that 3rd date because the 4th one was really cheap. So keep that in mind going forward and keep dating this girl. Don't worry about your fucking values are different on the 3rd date. There's lots of time to figure that shit out. Just keep meeting up and see what happens. Let's get into our second post for this episode. What the fuck? How do you even find a date these days? Dating apps are useless? I'm 24, introverted, living in Canada, and honestly, dating apps are killing me. I've matched with people, but every time I try to message, I don't know how long to wait before asking to meet in real life. I hate seeming desperate, and so I usually get ghosted. I really suck at approaching random people in real life, too. Low self-esteem, clueless about what to say, how to flirt. It's like women on dating apps my age just want attention or validation, not a real relationship. I don't do friends with benefits or sex talk, so I don't get why it happens. Every time there's a brief hope after matching, it ends without a meetup and I'm left hating myself for failing again. Never felt so demoralized in my life. Are there ways to date as a shy guy without feeling completely crushed every time? For women, it literally seems so easy to get matches, yet no matter how much self-improvement and focusing on your hobbies and life goals you do as a guy, it doesn't seem to get better from what I've read online. Okay, so the thing about women on dating apps your age just wanting attention and validation, it's true. You're not crazy. A lot of women are just on there for that, I think. And the ones that are on there for that may go on a date every now and again. But I mean, I don't know. I've met girls who I've approached on the street and I date them like that or whatever. And they tell me that they have downloaded Tinder or whatever, but they've never met any guys from there. Now, I understand, of course, they may be lying to me about that, but I've seen some of their profiles and it's just like guys messaging them over and over and them not replying to anything. So, yeah, I do think a lot of it is attention and validation. But you can get dates from there. It just takes a lot of bullshit, takes a lot of time. And of course, like most girls are going to reject you. Remember that. But you are getting matches, which is a good thing because if you weren't getting any matches at all, then we'd have a whole other problem on our hands. But you're getting the matches. Okay. But you don't know how long to wait before asking them out in real life. To me, it kind of, yeah, there's comments there saying like 3 to 4 messages, which I totally agree with in some cases. But you've really got to judge by the girl somewhat. Like, I can have a good conversation with the girl. If she keeps talking to me and it doesn't seem too boring, we're not just asking the same fucking stupid questions that, I've been asked and she's been asked a million times, then I can keep that going a little bit. But just in general, a rule to keep in mind is that you probably need to ask them out quicker than you are asking. Because at least then you can save some of your time. And, if you're 3 or 4 messages in and you invite her out and she just doesn't respond to it, well, okay, you can move on. And she was probably never going to meet you anyway. She's probably just on there for attention and validation. You talk about this brief hope that you have after matching it ends without a meetup. But yeah, there's not really enough details in there. Are you actually inviting them? Because you said you don't know how long to wait. So do you actually send the invite? You think you're just maybe doing it too late or too early? Or do you just give up on it? You got to send that invite. Absolutely. Now, this last sentence you mentioned here, that no matter how much self-improvement and focusing on your hobbies and life goals that you do as a guy, doesn't seem to get better from what you've read online. And that kind of advice is really a big reason I started the podcast, because you will go on Reddit and just see people saying, oh, just work on yourself and somebody will come along. But I don't believe that that's how it happens at all. But with that being said, I mean, I'm reading your post here. You don't seem like someone I would want to hang out with. So why would a girl want to hang out with you? You say you've got low self-esteem. You say you're left hating yourself for failing. You don't want to feel completely crushed every time. You seem like a bit of a downer. I wouldn't want to hang out with you. So I think in your case, that is a problem that you need to fix somehow. I mean, nobody likes to get rejected and failing, but for me personally, the best way to get over that is to just get rejected and fail a million times. I mean, I've had a lot of dating success, but I've also had so many failures. I mean, it's the same with you and anybody else on dating apps and me talking to girls in real life. Of course, I've been rejected by more girls than I've had sex with. I mean, that goes without saying. But yes, I understand that it kind of feels demoralizing when, you don't really get many dates, for example, and then you talk to a girl who seems down to meet or whatever, and then it just goes to shit. I remember what that was like, and it still sucks now if I get rejected, but, I know that I'm going to be able to get a girl on a date with me eventually, so it doesn't affect me as much as, a long time ago when I wasn't getting many dates. Get more dates and fail more. Get these girls out. Also remember that a girl matching you on an app is like, it's barely anything. It has barely any meaning at all. It's barely any better than not matching with you at all. Like, she has not made any kind of commitment to you. She's not really that interested in meeting up with you. There's still a lot of work to do. She's just given you the possibility of getting in contact with her and talking with her. It's still far away from a date. So just don't get your hopes up in that sense as well. So you shouldn't feel crushed by that. Just like dating apps are kind of not real life. So invite these girls out quicker when possible and do something about your personality, man. Nobody wants to be around someone low self-esteem. And being shy and introverted, okay, that's another topic, I guess. But just because you're shy and introverted, that doesn't mean that you need to have low self-esteem. I just want to clarify on that. You can remain shy and introverted. I don't think it's ideal, but you can still have high self-esteem despite those things. Let's go on to the next post for this episode. Do you guys ever have a girl who is awesome in person but sucks at texting? Met a girl, like the title implies. We've been on 3 dates so far, including one at her place. It's effortless talking to her, And after each date, she tells me she had a great time. But when I get home and text her that I had a great time too, wishing her a good night and sweet dreams, she leaves me on red. Not even a like or a short reply. She does respond when I ask how she's doing, but her replies are barely engaging. I've texted her about how good her TV series recommendations are, but she seems to look past that. Yet in person, we talk about them easily and have great conversations. The gap of interaction when we don't meet is driving me nuts. It makes me feel the same way I did when girls in the past ghosted me when they're not interested. I'm torn about whether I should keep pursuing her when it feels like I'm just being ghosted and making a fool of myself. Because to me, if someone truly likes you, they'll make time, even just a simple text to show they're thinking about you. What's your opinion on this? I have to preface this by saying that one of my biggest pet peeves is people saying that they're being ghosted when they're not. Girls are so guilty of this. I think most girls don't even understand the definition of ghosting. A girl thinks that just if you don't message them, that you're ghosting them. But really, to get ghosted, you need to have sent a message to someone and they don't reply. And also, that message that you sent needs to be something worth replying to. So, you, my friend, saying that you feel like you're being ghosted. Now, I understand you say you feel like you're being ghosted, not that you are being ghosted, but her not replying to you is not her ghosting you. You're making a huge deal out of this. So my approach to texting is that she is doing what I want to do. I love not texting very much between dates. There's not much to talk about. I rather save it all for when we meet up again. So this thing about, she gives you TV recommendations and then you text her and say how good they are. Don't even do that, man. Talk about it next time you're with her. This is the ideal thing. Texting to me is just a burden to get me to my goal of meeting the girl. So this is fantastic. You say that you meet her and it's effortless talking to her. It's great. And then she doesn't text that much. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't be putting in that effort on your end. If you've got a long interval between two of your dates, you might want to send something just quick and easy to reply to. And hopefully she would reply to that. But if you're 1 week in between dates, then I wouldn't have any conversation except meeting up for that next date. Hey, are you free on this day? Let's go here. That's it. You're torn about whether you should keep pursuing her. Yes, you should if you like her. I can't believe some of the reasons that guys want to throw away girls. What, because she doesn't text that much? It's fine. Put more meaning into her coming out and her actions than what she does on her phone. It doesn't matter that she doesn't send a message. She comes out and meets you. That's great. That's all you need. And you say that you go home and you text her that you had a great time, wish her good night and sweet dreams. I mean, it's a little lame for me. I wouldn't recommend doing that just because I know the dating success I've had and I don't really ever do anything like that. But I understand that some girls might like that and it's probably not detrimental. But okay, she leaves you on red on that message. Girls send me that message and I leave them on red because there's just nothing to reply to there. I could also say good night, sure, but also it doesn't really matter. You're wrapping up the night by saying good night and sweet dreams. Why does she need to reply to that? She doesn't. You're presumably going to bed or she's already in bed, so there's no need to keep this little conversation going. And just to give you some more assurance, I think most girls I've ever dated and slept with, they're all what you would describe as bad at texting. Now, of course, when I invite a girl out, I don't like getting a reply 12 hours later. But even that happens sometimes, and that turns out to be fine. But yeah, you're thinking way too hard about this. Just, again, the big takeaway is judge her on what she does when she comes out and meets you, not what she does in text. As long as she's meeting up with you, everything is fine, and you should reel back your texting a little bit. Moving on to post number 4 for this episode. How do I make conversations more flirty and less friendly small talk? I met a few girls at a Halloween party recently. We had good conversations, got along well, and I even got their numbers. But I realized something. My conversations tend to stay too normal. The usual small talk. Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like about the city? Hobbies, etc., etc. What I'm really struggling with is creating that flirty or playful vibe. I don't want to come across as just another friendly guy having surface level chats. I want to build more spark and attraction in my conversations. Any tips on how to naturally steer things in a flirty direction? What kind of topics or tone help make that happen without sounding forced or creepy? Well, first of all, you got a few of these girls' numbers, so congratulations on that. Now, it's not to say that they didn't just give it to be polite and they're never going to talk to you, but you took some action there and you got the numbers, so you're definitely not a lost cause. You have some kind of skill there, so well done. I think the advice I want to give on this is that you don't necessarily need to focus on making a flirty or playful vibe, but rather focus on not having a boring vibe. I think there is a little bit of a difference. I remember when I was just kind of starting out with like approaching girls in person and stuff, I would fall into the same traps of like, yeah, where are you from? What do you do? And that is all pretty boring. I mean, it can come up later on in the conversation, but it's not really what you want to get into early on. So, what I would tell myself is do not ask, where are you from? Do not ask, what do you do? Like, make a list of questions in my head of do not ask these things. And then hopefully through that, other things come out and you start talking about things that are not normal. So it's not like you need to have canned lines ahead of time of like, I'm going to say this and this to try to be flirty. Just try to not be boring. Do not allow yourself to ask, what's your name even? Like, there's lots of girls who I get their phone number after, we're talking for 10 minutes or whatever, or we go on an Insta date. Like, I just approach them and we go and hang out right then. And like, I don't even know their name until I see it on WhatsApp or whatever, because yeah, it's just something to avoid. But you seem somewhat social. Like, you seem like you could probably keep some kind of conversation going that's out of the normal. Like, you just start talking about, you're at a party. I don't know. The girl has a drink in her hand. Maybe you ask her what she's drinking, anything like that. You just say something and just keep on that topic, see where it brings you. And just remember that you don't want to bring up those boring things. You seem like you're capable of that because you have some kind of self-awareness of getting the numbers from these girls. So you're not starting out from zero. So that's great. Beyond that, of course, I always like to try to make them laugh. It depends on how funny you are, I guess, but I think that's gotten me far because, my looks don't really get me very far at all. So I've got to be funny, and that works out. Of course, every girl loves to laugh. And just doing that will naturally create this flirty and playful vibe that you want to create. And then if you do that and you get their number, well, then it's a lot better than, getting their number after a little bit of small talk, as you're probably going to find out. All right, let's move on to one more post for this episode. How to detach from the emotions of dating. I need to learn to detach from the emotional roller coaster of dating, specifically not get attached too soon and then feel down in the dumps when it doesn't work out. It's mentally exhausting, and frankly, it's borderline ruining my mental health, especially with girls I really like. Any ideas or suggestions? I think this is something that a lot of guys struggled with. We even had one post in this episode already that was kind of like the same thing. That's what it was like for me long ago, but now it's like such an alien topic to me. But even now, there is a girl that comes around every once in a while that, I've dated enough girls where I can tell when one is like a little bit more special than just the average girl that I'm dating. And yeah, it can suck when it doesn't work out with her. So I do understand it from that perspective for sure. He gives some more context in the comments of an example that he went on multiple dates with a girl, 3 dates, that is clearly into him. He is into her and likes her a lot, capitalized. We hit it off. I start thinking about the future with her. She breaks it off. I get my heart broken. And he wants to better understand how to not get wrapped up so much into that specific person before things get more serious. But just look at the huge gap that has been written here. Girl that is clearly into me, she breaks it off. Girls that are clearly into you do not break things off. She was not that into you. This is another thing that a lot of guys get wrong when they don't have a ton of dating experience. You think like just because a girl is coming on a few dates with you, that means that she's into you. Not really. It means that she's kind of open to you, but like she's probably got lots of options. It definitely doesn't mean that she's thinking about anything long term with you. Now, not too much surprises me anymore, but I still get girls as well who they're on the date with me and like they seem into me, but I can just kind of judge like, she's kind of like putting on her fake dating, let me show this guy some interest personality. Like I can see the nuances in there of like, okay, she actually likes me and she's probably going to come home with me tonight and we're probably going to have sex and she's probably going to meet me again next time. So it's a bit hard to give advice on something like this because you just want to understand how not to get wrapped up so much in that specific person. It's kind of like I just want to say my advice is don't get wrapped up in that specific person. But okay, to get to that point, I think you need to go on more dates. And then you will be able to judge the girls more of if they are actually into you or not. Because this is a problem here, thinking the girl is really into you and then she breaks it off and your heart is broken. Whereas if you kind of have more of an attitude of like, okay, this girl seems nice and I don't know, hopefully we keep seeing each other, but if not, that's fine. I just, I was on 2 dates with girls last week and I'm going to go out tomorrow and I'm going to get some more phone numbers, or I've been getting a lot of matches lately. So whatever, it's not a big deal if she breaks it off. That's just a much healthier attitude to go into dating with instead of, meeting one girl and thinking, oh my God, this girl is amazing. I can see her meeting my friends. What would my family think? Because these are some things that he also mentions in the comments. I've definitely been there. Just remember that, like, this is all fleeting. Anything can leave at any point. And you just got to appreciate the time that you have together for now. And you got to get what you want right now. You don't want to be waiting a long time to have sex with these girls or anything. You want to try to get it very quickly. You mentioned how it's exhausting and ruining your mental health. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but that's just what dating is. Again, I said earlier in the episode, anyone is going to get more rejections than they get girls sleeping with them. That's just the way it is. Having a lot of options around, I think that's just the top option for not feeling like this. Okay, that's it for this episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or if you want to support the show, and I will see you next time.